VonAllen Sports.
Is Cam Newton a good player? Yes, he is. Is Cam Newton a smart player? Well, he makes some dumb decisions sometimes in the moment, like while the play is developing and while it's happening. He can read defenses pretty good. I know that. He will study. I know that.
Newton drops straight back. There's a crossing route. McCaffrey.
His 2015 campaign was phenomenal. But what do you do about attitude? His attitude is garbage. But the number one thing that I hold against Cam Newton, that fumble that he would not jump on.
He jumped away instead of jumping into the pile.
Yep, I guess he made a decision it wasn't worth to go in there and get it.
I might sacrifice my firstborn child. I don't have a child, but if I did, I might sacrifice my child to jump on that fumble. Okay? It's the freaking Super Bowl. That's when you give everything up for that. I don't care who's going near it. I don't care who's going to hit you. That is the time to jump on that thing. That is when, if you don't do it then, when do you do it, right? But that attitude, guys, not jumping on a fumble, man, you cannot. Ugh, that's disgusting. I watched Tom jump on a fumble against the Dolphins in a regular season game. He lost the ball, and then all you see is Tom can't move his body forward, so all you see is his arm reaching out for it, grabbing it, and then getting it, while everybody was converging on it. That was just a regular season game. No big deal. Truth is, Tom could have just not even bothered with that fumble and nobody would have cared. But he went for it. It's a very special person who thinks the way Tom does. But I do expect commitment. And that commitment needs to at least come to, you better jump on that fumble. There is no way that Cam would ever be able to achieve much on the Patriots with that attitude that he's got currently. We also have to remember that a lot of his attitude is some of the responsibility has to be held by the team of the Carolina Panthers. Why? They're with them every day. So nobody's checking Cam on this. Nobody's saying, hey, it's like a spoiled child, all right? If you've got a child who keeps being spoiled, who's out of control over and over, eventually you have to point the fingers at the parents, don't you? Say, how come nobody's ever stopped them? How come nobody's ever not given them what they, Apparently Carolina has been appeasing this dude. They have been giving him what he wants, giving him his way all these years. Because the very first time he had one of those little ridiculous press conferences where he's whining like a baby, the Patriots, Belichick would have been like, what the hell was that? What was that? Don't ever do that again. Don't ever talk like that again. Don't ever single out one of your teammates. Don't ever talk about the coaching staff. You do that one more time and you're out of here. That clearly was not happening in Carolina. How do you fix mindset? But if you can get somebody to change their mindset, it's in New England, right? I love watching Cam play. Cam is exciting to watch. He's a good player, but he can be a great player. He can be an elite player if he's really wanting to be. But that attitude, man, he cannot. Think about this: how hard it is to play for Bill Belichick. Do you really see Cam Newton not buckling under the pressure of playing for Bill? And not only are you playing for Bill, but you're playing after Tom. Cam is a situation where it's all about price. Can Cam be acquired for a little? How much is it going to cost to even kick the tires on this guy? What's he wanting? What's he going to demand? You see, all these things matter. If it's the right price, if it's very low and very low risk, and again, price is everything. Why? Because injury. The dude is always injured. However, I will say this: certain types of injuries are products of playing style. Him being injured a lot in Carolina, they need to investigate to see if that is a product of a bad group of physicians, a bad group of people who are just not really great at their jobs. You need to see if maybe they don't know how to treat the quarterback position as well as they should. Maybe a play differential, so a different type of play where he isn't always reliant on doing everything himself. Maybe a protective offensive line and making him more of a pocket passer more often, not completely, but more often. That would minimize it as well. Keep in mind, guys, Cam Newton was the driving force of that team for how long? He was like the only offense. The dude was doing everything on it by himself. That's why he got the MVP in 2015. Right now, no way you pay Cam Newton quarterback money right now. You just don't. You give him an incentive deal, a 1-year prove-it incentive deal. That's what you do. But to be honest with you, I don't think we need him. I'd rather try a year with Stidham. If we can make Stidham a competent quarterback, guys, we've got him for years on a phenomenal deal. The other day when I was looking up Brady's contract and I showed it to you, how much was he making in 2001? It was what, like, was it like 300?
350.
Was it 300?
Something like that.
Okay, so in 2001, the year that Tom Brady won Super Bowl MVP, he was making $300,000. That's insane, okay? But right now, Stidham is more or less the equivalent of that in the year 2020. So we're talking, I think Stidham is like 800,000, 850,000 against the cap. If we can make him a competent guy, pretty good, a good quarterback that can just get the job done. Hell, if he can even be what Jimmy G was for the 49ers this year. Guys, we've got a quarterback for years that's making nothing. That's a good situation to be in. Versus a Cam Newton who might give us exact same as Stidham, but he's going to cost what? 20 mil? That doesn't even make sense. And Stidham said in January that Tom opened up everything to him. And Tom was really working with him so much throughout the season. I like that, guys. I don't know about y'all, but a talented quarterback, a talented guy, talented enough for Belichick to draft. Okay, so talented enough for Belichick to use a 4th-round pick on. Well, it's been an interesting few days for the Patriots. How you guys doing? You know what? Just one moment. Okay, there we go. So the other headphones I had was giving me an echo, and I gave the other pair to Milena. So we're good now. All right. Tonight, Milena will not be on the screen, but she is there in the chat. So I didn't anticipate that I was going to do a show tonight. This kind of just happened by accident. Well, not by accident, but I have been working on my school stuff like I told you guys, and I realized, videos take a long time to get out, and if I want to talk about this recent news, then I should just go live, and then I can cut that up and then upload it tomorrow, and then anybody who didn't see the live show can watch it. So I thought that was the best way to go for now, up until I'm completely done with my school. So, all right. If anyone sees See It Twice, which is his real name's Daniel. If you see him in the chat, let me know, because I have to tell him something. So, something I noticed that I got wrong a while back, and I need to make a correction. So, not a big deal, but it's a correction. Okay, first of all, we have, before the show even started, we have a $5 super chat from Psycho Mantis. He did this last week too, and I want to just say I really appreciate it, man. And he says, a Tuesday edition of VonAllen Sports will dress me in white and blue and call me Cam Newton. Well, Cam Newton is primarily why we're here tonight, guys. And also something to do with the punishment regarding the Patriots. So all these things, I went live when we traded Gronk. I would say that this is definitely big news. So this is worth going live, an unscheduled live event. Only a few times I've done that before with Brady, Gronk, things like that of that nature. I did it, I think, my first live show was Andrew Luck retiring. So it's got to be something pretty significant for me to do it. That's not scheduled. But here we are. Did Shaq just send $100 super chat? Is that $10?
It's 100.
Holy shit. Okay. Shaq sent a $100 super chat.
Wow.
Let's go. I just woke up a whole Sofia, Bulgaria, baby. It doesn't matter. Shaq, wow, thank you, man. I can only imagine what this is going to say, though. For $100, what did you write? Sending this much to make sure there is a Newton hate saga. Interesting. There have been enough hot takes the last 2 days to last you 20 episodes. I wasn't much of a fan of his, even after hearing he signed. But I want him to win a Super Bowl to shut all these idiots up. Wow. Okay, so admittedly, I haven't watched everything that people have said the last 2 days. But I checked in on a few things here and there, reading tidbits and like little bits and pieces, and got, a lot of people's personal opinion. Like on our Facebook group page, I get a lot of the news and things like that. I don't know, Shaq. I don't know what people have been saying or what you're referring to exactly. Because like I said, I have been focused on other things, but I think that could be a good thing in this case, in tonight's case. And why it could be a good thing is because I haven't had anything in my head. I haven't heard all kinds of various opinions, so it's just pure about what I think. But before we get on to Cam, because that is a very interesting and it's going to require some time. I just want to start off with the punishment that they gave us. So, the Spygate 2 bullshit that came down from the recording of the vaunted Bengals team, the amazing Bengals team that we needed to spy on in order to beat them. Yeah, that event. We were docked $1.1 million, or paid a fine for $1.1 million. And they took a 2021 draft pick. And the rights for the television crew to film games in 2020. Which means no more Do Your Job episodes, most likely, unless they're done at the training facility. And, well, I might say something that might surprise you. But this is not, or should I say, if you're a Patriots fan, you should not look at this as punishment for cheating. Or actually, you don't have to be a Patriots fan. Any football fan do not look at this as punishment for cheating. This is punishment for stupidity. This is punishment for being a moron, all right? And I am talking about Robert Kraft because it was his company, his group, that did it. And apparently they outsourced some of the, and we talked about this last year when it happened. They outsourced some of it. Why in the world, when you are worth billions, do you not have a dedicated film crew that has been working there for years? A director, every single person who has not been to Patriots boot camp to understand what you can and can't do and what's not okay and what's okay. I do not believe that the filming was anything to do with the filming that was done in Spygate in 2007 and then 2006, what they were referring to. I don't think, and I don't believe that Belichick would approve of that. He knows that it's not even that big of a useful thing, and the getting caught doing something like that would be so problematic. Belichick knows for a fact that if he was caught doing that again, he would be suspended for the season, most likely. And I don't think he's that dumb to risk that. I think it's what it seems. I think this film guy was just filming random things, and he's a freaking idiot. That's what I believe. He's a freaking idiot. And it was just sloppiness, whatever you want to call it. But there is no doubt in my mind, okay? I sincerely mean this. There is no doubt in my mind that if Tom Brady was still on the Patriots, that fine would have been bigger and the draft pick would have been a first rounder. And if you don't think so, then why did it take 6 months? It's been longer than 6 months. Why did it take since last year to rule on something that they had evidence of within 24 hours, I believe, or less? Why would it take that long? We're not talking about the Supreme Court trying to come up with something here. We're not talking about passing a law. What is this? They've already come up with retarded rules faster than that and gotten rid of retarded rules faster than that before they could actually come down with a punishment about some moron who randomly filmed something that everyone on planet Earth can see any time they watch a game, or any person in the stands. You could buy a ticket to the Bengals-Patriots game and you can film all of that shit, and nobody can do anything about it. So what are we talking about here? This was specifically done to see what would happen with the Patriots. It wasn't done in the playoffs, and it wasn't done at the end of the season because they wanted to see how far the Patriots would go. If the Patriots beat the Titans, they go to let's say they play either the Ravens or Chiefs. I can't remember the seeding. I think it would have been the Chiefs. They go play the Chiefs and they beat the Chiefs, and they end up in the AFC Championship game against the Ravens, let's say. You bet your ass that punishment comes down. You bet your freaking ass that punishment goes down. The Patriots knocking on the door to another Super Bowl run? Hell no. Hell no, they're not going to allow that. It might even have came the week before the Super Bowl if they had made the Super Bowl. But my point is that they were waiting for it. They were waiting and waiting. It was timing. Timing was an issue here. That's what this was about. It wasn't about It wasn't about what's right. It wasn't about them feeling that the Patriots cheated. It had nothing to do with that. It was about timing. They waited long enough. People say, well, why didn't they just do it after Tom Brady left? Why? Because they wanted to make sure that Belichick didn't trade for Aaron Rodgers. Okay? Or Matt Ryan or someone like that. They wanted to wait to see what Belichick would do. What would he do? What free agent moves would he make? Everyone was expecting Belichick to do some kind of crazy thing. Although most Patriots fans, we all said, I doubt much happens, but we were hoping something happens. But they were waiting. They were waiting to see, because if they made a move for a quarterback like that caliber, that would have drove everyone insane, the entire NFL insane. Everyone would have been like, "Oh my God, I thought we got rid of the Patriots. We got rid of Brady. What the hell do we have to do now? You're bringing in a top 10 quarterback now? That's what the hell, dude?" And they would have brought the hammer down. They were waiting to see what happened. You could even say that they were waiting to see if Patriots would make a move in the first round to get an elite quarterback, or something that they think could be an elite quarterback. The point is, they waited as long as freaking possible to see what New England would do. They waited to see if they're a threat. Is New England a threat? And everything on paper up until last week said that the New England Patriots were not a threat. They were no longer a threat. They were no longer a concern for the Kansas City Chiefs or the Baltimore Ravens, or even any mid-level meddling team that's possibly wanting to make a run. Okay? And they handed it down too damn soon, because Bill Belichick just signed fucking Cam Newton. Oh, God. Yes, this is... the timing is wonderful. It's hilarious. That's why I'm laughing. But they're not connected, okay? But the timing is funny. Belichick doesn't just sign somebody overnight. The fact that Cam Newton was signed a few days ago means that Cam Newton had been talking to Belichick for over a month at least. Okay? So Bill is going to make sure everything is looked at about him before he does that. He also needed Cam to be told no from a lot of different teams in order to get Cam for essentially what I would consider free of charge. Cam Newton is on the New England Patriots for absolutely nothing. When you compare potential value versus cost, everyone keeps saying that his salary is $7.5 million. His salary is not $7.5 million. He is not making $7.5 million. Cam Newton would have to... You know, one thing about Bulgarians is they like to drink at night and they like to talk very loud. They're a lot like Englishmen. They love that. But they sing a lot of interesting and hilarious songs at nighttime. It is funny to be woken up at 3 a.m. to people singing while they're walking down the street. I'm not joking, actually. It's funny. We sit there, we lay there, and we laugh when we hear these people singing. But anyway, thank you for closing the window. We live right in downtown, right in the city, like the Manhattan version of Sophia. So there's always something going on. So it's pretty cool. But anyway, his Cam Newton's contract, he would have to hit incentives. He would have to play amazing and do all these great things to even hit that. And because they're incentives, there's some cap manipulation that can happen in order to take that hit, because everyone knows we are in the worst cap situation in the NFL. The whole idea was to survive in 2020 to move on to 2021, right? Here's the thing. That video that you saw playing before the show started, that is a repeat of a video that I published on March 28th. Now, when I said those things, what did I say? I said, would I be interested in Cam Newton? Yes, but at what price? Everything for me was cost. Everything. Cost mattered because of the cost to benefit ratio. And at on March 28th, everyone assumed that Cam Newton was a $20-25 million quarterback. And we assumed that someone was going to give it to him. Even with the injury history, even with the question marks, we thought, come on, man, who really believed that Cam Newton wouldn't have a job right now? And up until 2 days ago. I mean, it's shocking. Jameis Winston was signed before Cam Newton. Okay? So what the hell? Damn. Even Phillip Rivers found a starting job in Indianapolis over Cam Newton. Now, I'm not comparing Phillip Rivers to Jameis Winston. I want to be clear on that. I'm just saying, though, that an aging quarterback like Rivers being dumped from his team, who significantly downgraded their quarterback situation, got a starting gig and a good paycheck before Cam Newton even got any interviews or phone calls. So we didn't know better back then. We didn't know that all these things would transpire, and we did not know that Cam Newton could be purchased for this little. Okay? Cam Newton, for $7.5 million incentives, I'm just going to say it up front right now in case anyone is wondering what I'm going to say about it. That is a steal. Okay? It is a steal. If you believe that it was a waste of money, what is his salary? I bet it's going to be like $3 million. It's probably something like that. I don't know. Do you guys know? I could not find it yet. But I said if he could be gotten at $10 million, I'd do it. At $10 million, he's worth just backing up Stidham. It's $10 million's worth it to me if he's healthy, okay? The potential upside that you could probably get out of him for only $10 million, I believe I would do it. But to think that Cam Newton would sign for an incentive deal so little blows my freaking mind. Okay, so See It Twice says he thinks he saw it's 1.1 million or something like that. Dude, that is utterly insane. Okay? I don't care. I mean, the salary is so small that there's nothing you can say. There's nothing negative that can count against him because it's so small. It's so freaking small. What are you going to say about it? What could you say? Oh, well, he's got an attitude problem. So he costed $1.1 million bucks. Brian Hoyer makes more than that. I mean, come on. Seriously. Okay? Let's talk about the negatives. The negative was he has an attitude problem. That's the perceived knock on Cam. The famous not jumping on the ball in the Super Bowl. All right. Something like that, I think now wouldn't happen. I'm gonna give Cam the benefit of the doubt here and say that would not happen right now. I don't think, because of where he's at in his career. I think he probably learned from that, and that hasn't come up again. I do know he's the same guy who would do a front flip over a defensive players just to score a touchdown. I think that's probably riskier than jumping on that fumble was. But now that he's in New England, he clearly understands his situation. He clearly understands the climate of the NFL at the moment. And he clearly understands the question marks and people wondering about him because he signed for next to nothing, in my opinion. I would assume Okay? And he's been in the league for so long. I would assume that this was a massive, humble shovel that went right in his face. All right? I'm pretty sure that this contract that he signed alone and everything that he's gone through this summer about not being able to find a job has probably cured most of those things. I think you'll see Cam Newton in preseason jumping on fumbles that the opposing team's offense committed. So he'll be running down the sideline. Oh, fumble! He'll jump on it. Okay? Don't be surprised. All right? He's going to try to prove himself. He's got everything to gain from this. Do you understand that from Cam Newton's perspective, that if he gets to be the starter sometime this year and he plays well, do you have any idea the kind of contract he's going to get from another team? Any clue? You guys have seen what happens to our defensive players. Our defensive players, by the way, that were nobody wanted, nobody cared about, and everybody saw that they worked as a unit, not as an individual. I don't remember Trey Flowers suddenly becoming Jason Pierre-Paul. I don't remember him being J.J. Watt. I remember him being a very excellent player as part of an excellent unit. And they backed up the Brinks truck for this dude. They do it every time, and you guys know this happens every time a Patriots player leaves. They have a good year or a few good years, and it doesn't even matter. Everyone knows the deal, but they still give them money because they want a piece of that. If Belichick gets something out of Cam Newton, anything out of him, guess what? Cam Newton is now trade bait. He is suddenly now what you do, even though the deal is for 1 year, which is freaking genius because you have absolutely zero commitment. You can cut his ass after preseason if he sucks. So there's no risk here, okay? But if you make him even decent, if you can make him what Teddy Bridgewater it was for the Saints, when the Saints, they won 5 games with Teddy Bridgewater, you could trade him. But the Patriots could get a first rounder for him. Think about that. Flipping it like that. If you want to keep him, or what you would do is you would franchise tag him and then you would trade him. If he is the starter overall, and he does great, and he's Cam Newton again, he's not going anywhere. I'm certain that if Cam is happy there, and he was starting, and he was doing well, he'd probably want to stick around a little longer. But that is really getting ahead of ourselves. Okay? We don't even know if Cam Newton is going to be on the roster of week 1. We have no idea. No clue. Too many question marks. Players have not been together. Cam has got to learn a new offense. So the same reasons why Tom Brady is saying he's still working out with his players. He doesn't care about COVID as much as everyone else apparently does. Why? He needs to work with his guys. It's a new offense. The Patriots' offense is traditionally very complex and difficult to adjust to. And not that Cam won't be able to do that. Okay, Cam will be able to do that. That's not going to be a problem. I know one thing about him, and he does like to study film. He likes that part of the job. Because if you don't like studying film, you could not be a Patriots player. You just can't. It won't work. It just won't work. You cannot just bullshit your way around the Patriots organization, kind of half-assing it and not caring about studying film. That's not my problem. My problem for him in that regard would be time. Not enough time. Jarrett Stidham's been there for 1.5 years. This was people. I assume now from the comments I read, people have gone from saying that, oh, they don't have faith in Stidham. This is some kind of, oh, Patriots are now going to the Super Bowl. Dude, this was a no risk, zero risk signing for a guy who, if he gives you what he could just a few years ago, it's the best signing of the decade. It is. I mean, really? You get Cam Newton, he starts for you, and you go 12-4, and you got him for 1.1 base, we're thinking, and incentive laden up to 12.5. And most of that won't even count against the cap this season. You get that. That's one of the best signings ever. Okay? Now tonight we were out with her family, Melia's family, and I was telling her about this, and I said, this is such a Belichick move. This is so Bill. This is so Bill. And ever since VonAllen Sports started, I have always maintained, and I think most of you guys know, that when I said not my favorite player, but my most favorite player to watch, because people always ask you that, I've always said my most favorite player to watch is Cam Newton. Do I personally like Cam Newton? Well, I don't know him personally, but do I like him as far as, not as a player, but what I've seen outside of as a player? I'm not a big fan, okay? Not a fan of his attitude. I'm not a fan of, although this has nothing to do with his football, but he dresses like a complete freaking retard. I mean, he dresses like an idiot. That is just, again, that has nothing to do with anything. I'm not counting that against him as far as football goes, but this is just a side note. What the hell? Okay? The clothes he wears is so, it's just idiotic. But anyway, a few months ago, I saw a video by Cam, and he filmed himself working out. And I shared that video, and I said, it looks like Cam is coming back for revenge. Like, basically, he's focused. He looks serious. He looks like, wow, a team should probably look at him. They should be excited about it seems like he's, But I was saying that when I thought someone was going to give him a lot of money. I could have never dreamed or even thought up something this absurd. My God, I figured the dude would just take a year off, sit on the couch. But he's wanting to make a statement. Like I said, it's either this can go really well for him and it will raise his stock, or he may end up being the Patriots' new quarterback. The guy who succeeds Tom Brady. We have a new super chat. Yep. Shaq, come on, man. Dude, you can ask me anything you want now. You don't have to send any more. $10 super chat from Shaq. For those keeping score, that's actually a $110 super chat. He says, the worst part about this Cam signing is having to decipher his social media post. I was good at reading hieroglyphics in college, but he is at another level. Well, see, now I'm going to have to pay attention. I'm going to have to follow Cam. Never paid attention. I don't really pay attention to anybody's social media account because, to be quite honest with you, I don't give a shit about what these players have to say in real life. I don't care. I don't care about what their favorite car is. I don't care about who they're married to. I don't care about their political associations. I don't need to hear any of those things. I just want to know, are they going to be good at football? So I had to, but since he's the new quarterback, Of course, I'm going to follow him just like I follow Tom. And although Tom's going to be a lot more interesting this year because he is going to be able to speak. Let's talk about the situation as far as outlook. All right. Now, there's different. Oh, yeah. By the way, I was briefly on Twitter tonight on my phone, just real quick. First time I looked at Twitter in a long time. And I saw some posts from Patriots fans posting weird things. And Shaq, actually, I saw some of these because Shaq had either retweeted them or commented. And people were talking about, oh, the Patriots signed a black quarterback. As if this was some kind of anomaly. As if this was some kind of strange occurrence. Some kind of, wow, what's going on? And then one Patriots girl, this girl who's Patriots, wrote, if you don't like Cam Newton because he's black, you're not a real Patriots fan. I don't know if you checked, young lady, but the majority of the roster are black. And the last time I checked, Jacoby Brissett is not just some white guy who has an infatuation with spray tanning. Okay? He was black too. Yes, he was. Jacoby Brissett was a black quarterback for the New England Patriots. Oh my God. What the fuck? Really? Really? You know what I see when I look at Cam Newton in this uniform with the number 1? I immediately think Warren Moon. The blue colors, the blackness, and being number 1. He wears Warren Moon's number. And that's immediately what I thought. I thought, Warren Moon. That's cool. But I've just realized that people, every single thing that happens now is political or racial or something. It's just, I'm getting so tired of it. But anyway. If Cam gets acclimated and becomes a preseason sensation, like if he looks great, there's a good chance he could be starting. I think this is going to be an open competition. I don't think Belichick signed him and told him, you're going to be the backup. I believe that, okay, first of all, because I think I know Belichick pretty well, and I would not sign Cam Newton and then tell him that he's a backup. I would sign Cam Newton and say, go out there and beat Jarrett Stidham. Okay? So if you're a Patriots fan, you should just be happy with an open competition because Belichick will pick the right guy. I have no doubt. But if Cam, and this is a big if, okay, so like I said, we're going to look at the bad and the good. The good side is if Cam is even 80%, okay, just 80% of what we've seen him do, the AFC should be really fucking scared right now. Okay? Really scared. That's true, Milena. Actually, Milena just told me He's beaten us twice, guys. And God, I remember the first time it was that game where they were clearly holding Gronkowski. Luke Kuechly was holding Gronk. That was pass interference in the end zone. That should have been the ball on the 1-yard line. But yes, it's true. You're absolutely right, Milena. He has beaten us twice. The last thing the AFC wants to see, the last thing, is a 2015 Cam Newton leading a Bill Belichick team. Okay, so what do we remember about Cam Newton before Christian McCaffrey came along? What do we remember about Cam? We remember Cam Newton, who was the only player on the offense, the only guy on the team. Okay, and that's on the offensive side. And that is why he got that MVP in 2015. I mean, he had the stats. He had a great season and stuff. They went 15-1, okay? And a lot of that had to do with Cam Newton being a one-man army out there. You give him that, and if he can be 80% of that, just 80%, which is there's no reason why he can't, if he's healthy, and they're going to tailor some things, okay? So a lot of Cam Newton's injuries, guys, are from the playing style that the Carolina Panthers expected from him and wanted from him. Because he was that one-man army type thing, that also meant a lot of risk, a lot of hits, okay? How many times did we see Cam Newton run up the middle as if he was a power back? How many times did they have Cam Newton running up the middle like he was Jerome Bettis up against a stacked run defense? Yeah, they were sending him in shit like that. Of course you're going to get beat up. That's why running backs, most running backs' prime is very short. And their career is even is shorter than any position in the league, at least as far as prime years go. If Jarrett Stidham has any kind of Bradiness in him, okay, and I want to be clear, I'm not saying he's going to be Brady. I'm saying if he's got any of that Bradiness in him, that fire, something in there that burns him up, the sign of Cam Newton is going to light a fire under his ass, even more so, okay? It's only going to make him better. Would the 2001 Tom Brady fold with the signing of Cam Newton? No. Okay? So, it just, if he's got if he learned, if he's got that desire in him, because remember, everyone was expecting Jarrett to be pretty good, or at least do good. There were some expectations there, right? Well, your expectations weren't coming from a factual standpoint. He wasn't some high sought out first, top 10 pick in the first round, okay? A lot of the reasons why we thought Jarrett Stidham could be good is why. We thought he might have some Bradiness in him. We thought that he might have those intangibles that we can't see and can't prove until he's done it. But we were hoping for that. And it's those same things that if he has those, then Cam Newton being there is a plus. It can only be a good thing. Cam Newton beats him out, then we've got a guy that's better than what we thought Jarrett Stidham could be. I ain't in this for personal love of a player. Do I like Jarrett Stidham? Yeah, I think I'm really behind him. I like him. He said all the right things. He's done the work. He's put in everything. He's been there. He played behind Tom for a year. I like that. But at the end of the day, I want to win. That's it. Win. So, It's why I did not care that Antonio Brown was on our team. And why Tom Brady was pissed off when he was sent away. I know there are people who have personal favorites and things like that. But let me see here. Wait, why do people think Stidham has these intangibles? Not that he has them, but we were hoping for some of that. Okay? So did I not say that? Or maybe I didn't say that. Okay. Yeah, so with Stidham, we weren't expecting him to be Brady. Okay? Like, you're expecting him, we were hoping, it's hope, not expectations, I should say hope, that he has some of that factor in him. And apparently Belichick thought he did too, because we went this long without looking at another quarterback. And going by what Belichick, we consider he knows what he's doing, right? So there was a hope for those things. And if he has those things, then he would take the challenge and say, all right, I see ya. Let's do this. Seth Chandler, you think Cam Newton will be a disaster? See, that's the thing. I don't see how he can be a disaster. How could he be a disaster? If he's playing, then he's playing because he earned Belichick's trust, and that's good, right? If he's not playing, he's just a backup. And if he becomes,
And
trade bait. And if he's a problem as a backup, you can cut him, and it means nothing. No blowback, no nothing. Don't forget, if they make him a backup and he's pretty good, and he shows some flashes of being the old Cam Newton, just a few flashes, and then we let him walk in free agency, guess what we get? A compensatory pick. A third rounder. Boom. We just got a third round compensatory pick on a $1 million deal. And got to use him for a year. This is a no. I mean, this is so Belichick, dude. It's so Belichick. Anyone who thinks that anybody is replacing Tom Brady might as well, I don't know, I guess root for another team. If you think Tom Brady is coming down, guys, this will never happen again, all right? Nobody is going to do what Belichick and Brady did. Nobody. It's not supposed to happen. It never was supposed to happen. It was a freaking anomaly, okay? And the truth is that what Brady and Belichick has done is so insane that it could have been even worse for everybody, for the rest of the NFL. You know why? How many times was the Patriots in AFC Championship games one game away from the Super Bowl? 13. 13 times that they were on the doorstep of having 13 Super Bowl appearances together. Very well could have happened. Were there a few games where they weren't going to win or they didn't play? Yeah. But the point is that they were on the doorstep. Okay? There was one of the Broncos AFC Championship games that was not our night, and the Baltimore Ravens won in 2012. That was not going to happen. But the point is that we were there, knocking on the door. How about 2010? 2010. If we don't lose to the Jets, that 2010 team, it's one of the best Patriots teams that they've ever put together. And the Jets just had their number that night. Nothing worked. Nothing worked, no matter what. But if the Patriots don't lose to the Jets, you know they go on to the Super Bowl. That AFC No. The Steelers ended up in the Super Bowl by default. In fact, both of their Super Bowl runs were by default, and as far as with not having to go through the Patriots. When they went to the Super Bowl in 2005, that was when the Denver Broncos knocked out the dynasty, the original dynasty, in the divisional round. So this is what we're talking about. So speaking of that, what are we talking about? What's going on? Update me. What's people saying? Yep, Bitcoin Motors, 2015, a missed extra point. Exactly.
People are saying the Patriots don't have their new Tom Brady yet, but you already covered that.
Oh. Actually, I'm curious. I want to know. A lot of the things that are being said about him, but I know there's a lot of positive and negative. I did see someone post, and I didn't watch it, but he who shall not be named apparently reacted and was in favor of signing Cam Newton. I just need to be clear here. He who shall not be named is not a Patriots hater. He is a Tom Brady hater. There's a big difference. He absolutely hates Tom Brady. New England could have signed Jamarcus Russell, and he would have applauded it. If it means anything where he can take a shot at Tom Brady. Okay? He hates Tom. Absolutely hates him. So anything that idiot says, it means nothing anyway, but people were posting that. That's just what he does. So. Yeah, the AFC East, Seth, the AFC East is very, very interesting this year. The Dolphins, guess what? The Miami Dolphins, guess what I'm going to say? I think the Miami Dolphins, okay? Seriously. Now, don't get too excited, Milena. I know you used to live in Miami. I think the Miami Dolphins are going to be the biggest, shittiest team in the NFL this year. I think they're going to suck again. I have no reason to believe that they're going to be any better. When your team fires the coach because the players couldn't figure out the scheme, the offensive scheme, you fire the coach that was smarter than everyone else instead of getting smarter players for your team. That's when you know it's a dumpster fire. Okay? It's a organizational problem. Joe Burrows is not saving the Cincinnati Bengals. Okay? It's not going to happen. No one is saving these type of teams. Have the organizational they have a commitment to shit. All right? So that is who they are. That is who the Dolphins are. That is who the Bengals are. It's just how it is. So the Dolphins are not a problem. However, the Jets. The Jets are weird. The Jets are one of these teams that can go 5 years and suck, and then 1 year and all of a sudden they beat you in the AFC the AFC divisional round. Who the hell knows? Of course, that was Rex Ryan's Jets. But the point is the Jets are very awkward. Even with Chad Pennington, they had those weird years where they were kind of pretty good and stuff. So who knows about them? I think that Sam Darnold can improve, and their head coach, okay? I like his work ethic, but I just don't know if he's ever going to get a team going. So he got hired by Miami originally because he worked with Peyton Manning a little bit in Denver. And ever since then he got to work in Chicago, and he's been riding on that ever since, but I just don't know if he's got it in him. So who knows? The Bills. Well, apparently the Bills are no longer morons. So the Bills figured out, hey, our quarterback needs a target. Let's go get Stephon Diggs. We have great defense. Our quarterback can run the ball. We know that. He's a great scrambler. We can work on his passing game. Give him a guy who can get a lot of yak yards after the catch. The Bills are legit. They are. So it's going to be interesting. Who? Wait. Alex Payne, you said the Bengals were just bad last year. They've been to playoffs like 7 times. Is that what you're saying? You're talking about under Marvin Lewis? Here's the problem. The measurement of whether a team is good or not historically, or even in the recent history, is not about whether or not they made a playoff. It's about what you did with what you had. Did you squander a team that if another competent coach had him, they would make the Super Bowl? The Bengals had some of the best rosters of the 21st century. Some of the best. Some of the best players. There was a time, guys, where, and that John Madden would be commentating a game, and he'd say, when you think about the best quarterbacks in the league, you think Peyton Manning, you think Tom Brady, and you think Carson Palmer. Swear to God. There was a time where Carson Palmer was seen like that. I saw him like that for a while. There was a while, several years, where I saw, we didn't know what all these people were going to be at the time. We're talking about, early 2000s, mid 2000s-ish, a little after. But we didn't know. Peyton Manning hadn't even won a Super Bowl. And Tom had won 3, of course. Or that could have even been said before he won his 3rd. But the point is that there was no reason to think that Carson Palmer wasn't going to win a Super Bowl for the Bengals. He had Chad Johnson, of course. He had T.J. Houshmandzadeh. And pretty good defenses. Marvin Lewis had those guys playing pretty well. They had a great team. Great teams. Several great teams. Lack of discipline. Lack of focus. Bad ownership. Terrible ownership. So, yeah, did they make the playoffs? Sure. Did they squander teams that were really, really good? Yes. So, to me, that's an organizational issue. It's not just about losing all the time. If you squander great rosters, how the hell did you have Matthew Stafford and Megatron and not ever get anywhere? That's the question people need to be asked. It's like, how the hell does that happen? Bad organization. So. Zach, that's not really a hot take about Josh Allen. That's why I said they need to work on his passing game because, dude, last year that dude was throwing it all over the place except for the Bills players. But maybe that's why they got a guy like Stephon Diggs. So, throw it to him a few yards. Maybe he can hit that. Something like that. Make something happen. Who knows? Now, your hot take, though, you said he sucks. I don't think he sucks. You don't even think he's better than Mitch Trubisky? I think they're probably just about the same player. See, that's the thing. I wouldn't bet on Brian Flores. He's the one apparently who made the decision to get rid of Chad O'Shea. I think Brian Flores is a player's coach. I think he wanted to please everybody, and I think he made the wrong decision. But we'll find out, won't we? Mitch was actually more accurate last year. Oh, see, the thing is about Mitch Trubisky is I've never been that down on him. I don't think he's awful. I don't think he's good or great or anything, but I think he's kind of just blah. He certainly wasn't worth the pick. I mean, my God. Never should have. Would they spend a second on him? They even traded up to get him. Second or third, something like that. Josh Allen is a better runner than Tebow. Is that a hot take? Peyton had won MVPs and All-Pro and Pro Bowls. Yes, but Carson was earlier in his career, and then once he got like Ocho Cinco and the guys like that, there was no reason not to think that Carson Palmer was going to be, the next one of those guys. One of how we always talked about. We'd say Peyton, Breeze, Rodgers. Brady, we would put all those guys in kind of like a group together, the elite, the best of the best. And Carson Palmer at one time was considered that and thought that he would be that for a while. So I tell you what, if Carson Palmer doesn't get knocked out in that playoff game in 2005 where the Steelers took his knee out, there's a good chance that Bengals team goes to the Super Bowl. Man, I was so high on N'Keal Harry last year before the season started. This was before he got hurt. And I said that he would be in contention for Rookie of the Year, or at least Offensive Rookie of the Year. Of course, you can never predict getting injured. You can never know that those things are going to happen. So, and that kind of just threw everything off. And then the whole season was just a mess. The year started out with Robert Kraft being a complete moron, and that just leaked into the season. More so now than I ever have, I believe that Tom Brady left more so because of Robert Kraft. I should rephrase that. Regarding the Patriots specifically, I think he also left because he wanted something new as well. But when it comes to the Patriots, I don't think he was wanting to get away from Belichick. think he was trying to get away. He thought, Kraft, why? Kraft was bringing too many distractions. The dude is obviously losing his mind. I think he's woohoo, whatever. But he needs to give the team to Jonathan, in my opinion. But the Patriots organization was going to take, Tom Brady's reputation has already taken enough hits. Even though he wasn't involved, Spygate sticks to him. Deflategate happened to him because he was on the Patriots, and they were great. Deflategate doesn't happen if he is on a different team, and he's just they're an average team. If he had moved after that, is my point. After Spygate. This whole Spygate 2 thing that come down, he knew that was coming. Robert Kraft getting rid of Antonio Brown. That pissed off him and Belichick. Brady and Belichick were united when it came to Antonio Brown. Now, I will say it's true that if Antonio Brown had stayed on the Patriots, the NFL might have suspended him and took him away from them anyway. But we don't know that for sure. But what we do know for sure is that Kraft took him away. That's what we know. And Tom Brady is now having to deal with remember last year the fallout from the Asian hooker situation in Florida. I'm also certain that Giselle probably wasn't too happy about that. I know for a fact that if I was an NFL quarterback for a team in Tom's position and I could essentially do whatever I wanted, something like that would probably bother me, especially if my reputation had already been attacked. Don't forget, it was Robert Kraft who sold Tom out during Deflategate. People forget about this fact. Now, Robert Kraft tried to do some damage control when the fan base got pissed off for him, not going hardcore at the league. And then he found out the league did it anyway. And they, so basically the league just said, screw you, Kraft. We don't care what you think. Yeah. I think Brady felt left out. And these things add up, Not that Tom has ever said any of these things. I have no idea. This is completely just my opinion, me speculating. I have no idea what Tom thinks or how he feels. But these things cannot be good. They cannot be something that makes you go, oh, wow. I'm just saying, seeing how the situation, seeing how there were no players for him to work with on offense much, the way the season ended, all those things combined, all the controversy, it's not that hard to see why Tom wanted to go somewhere else. So. When did Bill sell out Tom? I don't remember Bill selling Tom out. Do you? What's he talking about?
I don't know. We talked about Mr. Kraft doing it.
Okay. Well, anyway. There are facts that disprove your points. Well, list them. I'd be happy to hear them. But If the only thing you're referring to that Bill sold out Tom, if you're talking about the whole, when Bill said that you need to talk to Tom about that, to be quite honest with you, I think that they thought this was a joke. I think they thought it was a joke. I think the same thing, like, if they had asked Bill about how Tom, how does he like his wristband done with the plays on it, he would say, well, maybe you should talk to the quarterback about that. Tom does an interview after me, so you could probably ask him. It was probably the extent of what Bill was thinking at the time. I would assume. So, but at the same time, it's also true though. Talk to the quarterback. Bill is a defensive coach. He spends a lot of time on the defense. I doubt he spends too much time wondering about how Tom Brady likes the football. I just don't think he does. I don't think he did. And I don't think he took it seriously when it was brought to him. Like, oh my God, this is going to be a big scandal. After he realized the idiocy of it and how stupid it was, he took it very seriously. He spent how many days before when he was supposed to be getting ready for the Super Bowl? How many days did he spend? Learning about air pressure. Okay? He had to spend time on that instead of preparing for the Super Bowl. How idiotic is that? I think Robert Kraft knelt down to his good old boy buddies in the NFL, is what I think. But none of us know for sure. So, I mean, you mentioned facts. Do any of us have facts on any of this stuff? Do any of us have a statement by Belichick or Brady on these things? No, I don't. So this is all speculation. I don't see how there's facts on anything. So. Yep, exactly, Alex Payne. All started by the crybaby Colts as the excuse of why they got destroyed. Dude, Giselle and Tom traveling with Robert Kraft has nothing to do with anything. Okay? There's been times where me and Milena as a couple, we've hung out with people that we know, and they did something really disgusting, and we spent all night with them because they're our friends, and we've known them forever. But when we get home and we're discussing our future as a couple, Milena might drop in that whole line like, maybe, Tom, maybe I'd be more comfortable if you got the hell out of New England before this whole prostitution thing came up, gets worse. All right? You see how those two things can happen at the same time? Doesn't mean that after it happens, and by the way, if you're talking about right after the news broke, nobody knew if it was true. So. And I don't even know if that is a problem for her. I was, again, I thought that I made that very clear, right? That this is all speculation. It's just my opinion about possible things that could be an issue. So I'm not taking calls. So not tonight. This is not a normal show. Oh, as far as Deflategate goes, as far as the football thing, it's all absurd. It's just fucking retarded. It's stupid. It's absolutely idiotic. And that's probably how everyone at first took it. But you want a fact? Here's a fact. Here's a fact for you, Jalen. The fact is that Robert Kraft did submit to his good old boy buddies in the NFL. He did submit. He submitted so much that he actually said he regrets it. Too little, too late, isn't it? No matter what, Tom could resent that. Do people not understand the concept of when you're married that your significant other can have a heavy, heavy influence on your decision making? And not even that. It could be something as logic. She could have said something as simple as, you know how bad this is going to look, not just for you, but for me? I don't know if you guys noticed, but she's the GOAT of her job. She's the GOAT of supermodels, the most successful in history. You don't think that her association to that looks bad too? And again, that's just a curiosity that I have. A curiosity I had always wondered. I wonder what Gisele's response to that was. I wonder what her reaction was. Yeah, you don't think she felt bothered by the crap allegations, and I think she probably was. The good thing about this is neither one of us know the truth. So, but you said you had facts. Where are your facts? You haven't written any facts. You've written exactly what I've said, which is opinion. You just don't agree with my opinion, but whatever. I mean, it's whatever. It's just... Raphael. That's funny. In Brazil, Tom Brady is known as Gisele's husband. Yeah. Gisele is not some random wife nagging in Tom's ear, okay? She has her own life, her own celebrity status, her own brand, everything that depends on everything that happens to Tom, okay? It's connected, and that's business, man. Would Tom Brady leave New England simply because Gisele told him to? No, he wouldn't. But her being unhappy, would that help him nudge him in the right direction? Of course it would. Of course it would. Clearly, Gisele is not the entire driving force behind Tom's decision making, or he'd be retired right now. All right? So that alone means that he is his own man. But it doesn't mean that he doesn't listen to his wife. Yeah, Shaq, absolutely. Gisele went on that CBS show and talked about his concussions. That was a problem. And obviously she probably, I don't know if she realized what she was saying or thinking about or maybe, hell, maybe she did it on purpose. Who knows? Okay. Again, we don't know, but that was absolutely Shaq. That was absolutely idiotic. Is there something I'm not saying correctly? Did I ever say that Tom was controlled by Gisele?
I mean, that's why I try to make a difference. Influence and control, whatever.
Is this not...
Just some people are stuck
Okay.
with their opinions.
I'm going to try to say it one more time. Okay? Maybe I should do it in a different language. Maybe I should do it in several different languages. I am not saying that Tom Brady is controlled by Gisele Bündchen. Okay? I am not saying that Tom Brady is not his own man. I am saying that when Tom Brady is weighing his decision to leave or stay, when he's got a list of 30, 40 things of pros and cons, if, and I don't even know if this is one of those, but if Gisele is in his ear saying, I really think we should distance ourselves from this, that's going to go on the list. And that's going to be one of the things that helps tip the scales. You see? I don't know if I can be any clearer than that.
Of course.
Like I just said, it's obvious that Tom is his own man because Gisele has wanted him to retire for years. The dude is going to be 43 at the start of this season. And not only did he not retire, but he went to an entirely new state. Like, it had nothing to do with the region. He went out of the region. It's not like he went to the Jets or the Giants, okay? I mean, he just got the hell out of there. There's no ties for him in Florida. Tom has no ties in Tampa. Clearly, he's his own man. I want to take I was going to say I was take a poll, but oh God. I thought Gisele being on an airplane with Robert Kraft means absolutely nothing. Okay? If my brother is accused of something, and the next day you see me and Milena on a plane with him, it doesn't mean that Milena agrees with my brother or thinks he's innocent. See what I mean? It's just, that's not how it works. I mean, it's just not how it works. So, whatever. I don't even know how this is such an issue, especially when I clearly said that I don't even know if she feels that way. It was just a guess. Seeing how she's a woman and seeing how that she has her own career and her own image to look up to uphold. So 19-0, Seth. You know what, man? If that team last year, if that team had kept Antonio Brown and seeing we didn't get bit by the injury bug so badly, there's a good chance that could have happened. Very good chance. At least the whole season could have been a clean sweep. Very well could have. My God, it was the worst group that Tom Brady has ever had in his career, I believe. The worst offensive group he's ever had in his career. And it took, the stupidest crap imaginable for the Chiefs to beat them. The eventual Super Bowl champions. It took some ridiculous crap just to beat the Patriots with that situation. So imagine how good that team would have been if they had those weapons. So absolutely, Seth, I completely agree. It could have been like that. Oh, for Christ's sakes. Wow. Yeah, it has. Yeah. The offense has been neglected for a while. I'll tell you what, though. I'm very, very unhappy with the way the Patriots fans have been treating Tom. At least some of them. I think it's about 50-50. Something like that. So. Yeah, exactly, Raphael. And they still went 12-4. Still went 12-4. Peter Kittredge, welcome. By the way, I've never seen you here. Are you referring to the Chiefs game I mentioned? Oh yeah, Luke, absolutely. When Brown was out there, it was just so easy. Just Tom started attacking, attack. I mean, he just went at Brown, boom. Oh, you guys, I told you to tell me if you saw See It Twice.
Yeah. There you go.
Daniel, See It Twice. I was going back and I was trying to cut up one of the former, a few shows from a few weeks back. I think 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and I mentioned we were talking about hockey, and I mentioned something about Roman Lyashenko. I got him confused with Ivan Kachenko, which is similar name, but I was talking about Ivan, not Roman. Roman killed himself, and actually that happened at a different time. But I saw that you had written that in the chat, and I just wanted to correct that. I didn't even realize that I'd confused the two. But anyway, that should answer that. Yeah, Tom had, well, that you guys remember a few years back when Tom was doing that interview at I think it was a university, and he asked, "Do you feel underappreciated by the Patriots?" And he said, "I plead the fifth." That's essentially a yes without saying yes. Yes, he felt underappreciated. You have to remember, Robert Kraft can make any deal he wants. He has proven that he will override Belichick when he wants to. And there you go. Silent night. He says Bill's tanking. Bill Belichick is tanking. Cam starts the first 8 games. Stidham finishes. Bill trades down in the draft and gets more draft capital to stick it to the league and add $150 million in cap space. Yes, See It Twice. Absolutely. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap up the show because I've been talking for an hour and a half now. I really appreciate you guys being with me tonight, and I wanted to address some of these things. Of course, we can talk more about this if y'all want. I'm sure we'll get some more information as the week progresses, and we'll talk Saturday night. So If you're just tuning in, I'm going to cut this video up and then re-upload it if you want to watch it later, or you can just re-watch this version. It will be on the DVR for 24 hours. So I want to thank all of you for your super chats, and especially Shaq. Thank you, dude. You're amazing and unbelievable. But Bill Belichick will never tank. It's not who he is. Tanking would be something that you'd do, you know, if you're in different circumstances. He's older now. Every year he needs right now, he wants to beat the highly overrated Don Shula's record, and tanking is not going to achieve those things. So, but even more so, he's just not like that. Brady's not like that. Bill is not like that. In fact, they're probably very similar when it comes to things of that nature. But thank you guys so much. Raphael, thank you. Bitcoin, thanks for being here. John Thomas Chavez, you're very welcome. Daniel, hey. Where you been, buddy? I miss you. Yeah, Bitcoin, exactly. Tanking's not good. So, Luke, thank you. All you guys, awesome. And Maria, thank you very much. So, be happy, okay? The upside with Cam Newton is infinitely great. I mean, there is no downside. So don't let other Patriots fans who are pissed off and try to bring you down about it. It can only be a good thing, because if Cam is a problem, they cut him and they lose nothing. All right. Talk to you guys Saturday.